Hey guys, I'm from Cannabis TV. My name is Conor McLeod, and finally it has arrived. The information that cannabis consumers have been talking about for over a year now has finally came into the mainstream, which is that cannabis compounds prevent infection by COVID-19 virus. Now, numerous cannabis consumers, writers, and journalists have been talking about the efficiency of cannabinoid compounds to fight off COVID, and it's essentially fallen on deaf ears until now. So this article, there's lots of them that's been produced. It's essentially, I think, the one study, but there's been, this one's taken from Forbes, but obviously it's the Independent, the Guardian, all these different other news outlets have covered the story as well. But this one is taken from Forbes, A.G. Harrington, contributor. And so it says, compounds in cannabis can prevent infection from the virus that causes COVID-19 by blocking its entry in its cells, according to a study published this week by researchers affiliated with Oregon State University. So it says here, cannabinoids block cellular entry of SARS-CoV-2 and the emerging variants. Now, essentially, the main compounds which are known to do this, or which they studied to do this, are cannabidiolic acid, CBGA, and cannabidiolic acid, which is CBD. Did I say that? So the two compounds which are known to be efficient at fighting off the virus are cannabidiolic acid, CBGA, and cannabidiolic acid, CBDA. And both of these can bind to spike proteins for SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19. By binding to the spike protein, the compounds can prevent the virus from entering cells and causing infection, potentially offering new avenues to prevent and treat the disease. Hooray! So, according to the researchers that they wrote in their according to what the researchers wrote in the abstract, orally bioavailable, and with a long history of safe use, these cannabinoids, isolated or in hemp extracts, isolated, we just need the hemp extracts, have the potential to prevent as well as treat infection by SARS-CoV-2. The study was led by Richard Van Bremen, a researcher for Oregon State's Global Hemp Innovation Center in the College of Pharmacy and Linus Pauling Institute. So yeah, this is absolutely tremendous information that's came to the surface as a result of this groundbreaking research. And like I say, over the past year or so, individuals have been consuming cannabis and they've been reporting on their subjective experiences if they've either had COVID or they've never had it and they think it's down to cannabinoid intake. And it's kind of unsurprising. If you think about it, cannabinoids interact physiologically on a synergistic basis with your physiology, and cause balance, and they help to fight off diseases and the like. So, so Van Bremen, the lead researcher, continued on saying these cannabinoid acids are abundant in hemp and in many hemp extracts. They are not controlled substances like THC, the psychoactive ingredient in marijuana, and have a good safety profile in humans. So yeah, it's absolutely tremendous information that we're seeing here. And he goes on to say, our research showed that hemp compounds were equally as effective against variants of SARS-CoV-2, including variant B117, which was first detected in the UK, and variant B1351, first detected in South Africa. It's like you're putting in your PIN code or something. So yeah, CBGA, CBDA prevent infection from the virus that causes COVID-19 by binding to its spike proteins. And if I just continue on here, it says the spike protein is the same part of the virus targeted by COVID-19 vaccines and antibody therapies. In addition to the spike protein, SARS-CoV-2 has 3 more structural proteins as well as 16 non-structural proteins and several compounds Van Bremen characterised as accessory proteins, all of which are potential targets for development to prevent COVID-19. So this would be like fast forward, and essentially we need to just focus on this. Of course I'm going to say that. But yeah, this is a super win for not only cannabis consumers and cannabis generally, but generally the fight against COVID. No matter what you think about the situation for COVID, we have an issue that needs to be resolved, or at the very, very minimum has to be quashed, has to be kind of reduced down to something that's less impactful, so we can get back to what life used to be. So just finally, it says they have the potential to prevent CBDA and CBGA have the potential to prevent as well as treat infection by SARS-CoV-2. CBDA and CBGA are produced by the hemp plant as precursors to CBD and CBG, which are familiar to many consumers. However, they are different from the acids and are not contained in hemp products. Yeah, so unless they are produced in a way that they are. So, and again, finally, the lead researcher Van Bremen also stated that the cannabinoids were effective against variants of the virus which are novel, against variants of the virus which are new, which are one of the primary concerns in the pandemic for health officials and clinicians. So essentially, new viruses, new variants of the virus such as Omicron and the other transformer sounding names seem to keep popping up. So it would be good to have something that we can kind of combat this ongoing situation. So yeah, that's essentially the gist of it. Resistant variants could still arise amid widespread use of cannabinoids, but that combination of vaccination and CBDA, CBGA treatment should make for a much more challenging environment for the COVID circumstance. So yeah, high five to the lead researchers over at affiliated with Oregon State University. This is groundbreaking stuff, and it's just a breath of fresh air to read this, and also for many that have been talking about this over the past year. And it just goes to show you that cannabis consumers are not what they previously were said to be, of these conspiratorial, biased towards the plant individuals. They are actually acutely aware of their body, and very often acutely aware of circumstances which can be engaged with to prevent illnesses and diseases, such as we have seen with numerous cancers from the 60s and 70s, been spoken about that the cannabis has an anti-cancerous effect, and then you fast forward to where we are now and we're essentially walking down that road. The same with epilepsy and numerous other medical conditions, and it just seems to be that COVID-19 is part of that list now. So high five cannabis, high five these researchers, and make sure and like and subscribe, and join me on Patreon, where you could help to build a stronger cannabis media platform for £3 a month. I'll see you next time.